Wildwood Cottage and welcome back to the greenhouse. Today I am going to be potting up some plants, so I thought I'd show you what I'm doing. I don't know about you, but I'm having a mixed success this year with seeds. New seeds that I've bought, they're just not growing. No idea why. I planted them in potting compost, but they're just not coming up. Has anyone else had problems like that? I mean, the ones I got from Lidl that I did, the sunflower seed, not the sunflower, the cucumber and the courgettes grew really quick. But I put some Sarah Raven seeds in and they're just not doing anything. So I hope they're going to come up because I spent a fortune on seeds. Well, not a fortune, but you know, I spent money on seeds and I expect them to grow, but they haven't. So we'll just have to see. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all having a good week so far. This is part 2 of yesterday's video. I realised it was going on for far too long, so I thought I'd stop. So yeah, what I thought I'd do now is get out in the garden and we'll go and have a look at those Russian kale that I found and we'll replant them. As I say, they were from an organic plant that I had on my allotment. I used to grow them on my allotment. I don't know where they came from. Can't remember. But I had it growing on my allotment for 2006 until I left in 2013. So that was what, 7 years out of the same seed. And then I had it in my other house when we were living in our old house before this one. And I grew it there. And I brought one plant here that I had in a polytunnel in a garden I was using in our old house. Because I used to rent the garden next door. Well, use it for free. They let me use it. And yeah, I brought the one plant with me that was left in the polytunnel. And I thought, oh, I wonder if I'll get anything off that. And I've just left it in the garden. And I've got seeds off it, little seedlings off it this year. So I'm really pleased. So we're going to go out. So from that one plant that I had in 2006, that I think I bought at one of those plant fair things. I've had, well, what are we now, 2023? I've had a long time out of the same plant, over 10 years. 2006, I've had 17 years out of the one plant, so that's really good. So yeah, we're going to go outside after that waffle and we're going to go and get the seedlings. So we'll just get something to put them in. Where are we? We'll take this and we'll go and have a look, shall we? Go and see what we can find. So we'll just make our way over here. Right, I'll just turn you around and I'll show you the plants. So there's one here, so I'm just going to use my fingers, loosen the roots up a bit. There's one. Another one. Now this is just a plant that I left in last year because it went to seed and the flowers were really pretty and the bees were loving it. So I thought, oh well, that'll be a nice end of year pollination for the birds. And see, got a nice root on it there. Another one. So I think they really appreciate being in a pot now. Where are we? Is there any more? Right, there's a nice clump of them here. There's one. Should really have a trout, but don't know where it is. And this is working just as well. That's what God gave me hands for. Get them in the soil. That's what I tell my husband anyway. Can't stand gloves. Another one. So I've just finished getting these. And then we'll go back into the greenhouse. There's another one there. Right, I'm all organised now. I've got my seedlings. I've got my potting bench set up and I've got my tray. I'm going to use this one. It's an old bedding plant tray, so that'll be ideal. There's 20 cells in there, so that'll be perfect. I have been and bought compost. It was 3 bags for £12. They weren't very big bags, but it's virtually peat free. It's got 20% peat in it, so that is really, really good as compost goes, because a lot of compost does have a lot of peat in. Some composts are like mostly peat, but this has got 20% in. It's Levington's compost, multi-purpose, and I can't remember how big a bag it is. It doesn't actually say on the bag, but it's not very big anyway. It fills 8 medium-sized pots, 22 centimetres. So yeah, and it's got 8 weeks of feed in it as well, which is ideal for me while I'm waiting for the polytunnel. So I'm going to break up the big clumps. I'm going to turn you down and then you can see what I'm doing, but I'm just going to break up the big clumps and then we can get our seedlings planted. So I'll turn the camera down and I'll show you what I'm doing. Right, so this is our compost. It's a nice compost. I don't like buying compost, I prefer to have my own, but I really, really wanted to get these plants moved on, give them a good feed, and then they can do their thing then when they get planted, can't they? They're not going to get stunted in their growth then, because these old boar, I only had 3 seeds left and all 3 of them came back. And they're really growing really strong, so they need to go in big pots. They need to go in a lot bigger pot, which I've left in the garage. So I'll be back in a minute. Right, so I've got my tray and I've got my seedlings all in there ready. So I'm just going to get some compost. I think I've got about 20. But I won't do all the cells for a minute. We'll see how much we need. No point in putting compost in if I don't need it. I'll just do 16 cells for now. Hope you like the setup of my camera. I hope it's alright for you. Hope you can see. Sorry about any noise in the background, but the farmer's moving the animals around today and they're in the bee place at the back. So just get my little seed. I'm going to start in the middle because it's easier. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm doing seeds, if I start at the end, they always get crushed. So I'll start in the middle. Get that bit of grass out. It'll come out. I don't want that growing in with our seed. Right, a bit more compost in there. Make sure it's all covered. So that's one. They haven't got much of a root on, so we'll just have to hope for the best. And I don't think that's because of the way I took them out. I think it's just that they haven't got much root. It's probably just as well. See, there's the root that we've got at the moment. There you go. It's not got much of a root on it at the moment, but I'm sure that will grow. So we're just making our way across. I'm made up with all these free plants. Great. Another one there. And it's lovely kale. But this just came from a plant. I'm not sure where I got the plant from. Can't remember. But it was many years ago anyway. So this is my success of one organic plant. It's still a success, isn't it? Well, that one's got a nice root on it. Look at that. It's looking like it wants to brighten up out there. So hopefully it will, and I can crack on with my polytunnel. But there are some more seedlings coming up outside of this plant, so if I have any casualties, there will be some more. I don't know if the farmer's moving the cows today, so we might have the cows back. I was hoping he wouldn't put them in this field this year, but you never know. They have their way of doing things, don't they? They like to keep the generational thing going, I think, with the animals. So they always graze in the same place they were born. Keeps the heritage going, I suppose. Right, so there we are. Got a whole tray of those free plants, so I'm really pleased about that, because I can grow them in the greenhouse for winter kale, and I can grow them in the summer for small leaves. So that will be a fantastic crop in the greenhouse. I'm really pleased with that. So I'll throw all that soil back on the garden after taking the weeds out. And yeah, right, so that's them. I'll water them in a minute. Move that out of the way. Right, so the next job I want to do and show you is the tomatoes. To any of you who are new to growing tomatoes, I have a particular way of doing mine, so I thought I'd show you how I do mine. So I don't want too big a pot, but I don't want too small a pot either. So let's see what we've got, because we've got quite a few tomatoes to pot on. What size pot did I use on them? I think this will do. Right, so what I do is, these are cherry tomatoes. See, I think you can grow these in a hanging basket. But what I do is, I don't put any compost in the bottom. I open up the seed and put that in, like that. You see that? So that's my bottom layer of compost. Now when tomatoes grow, the roots grow up the stem here. So what I like to do is I like to plant it deep. Now it looks like you're going to smother the plant, but trust me, it'll put on really, really good roots. So I fill the pot up like that. And then that will produce roots at the bottom here, and this growth will carry on growing. So I'll squash it down a bit. And there we are. So it's got loads of soil around it and it looks nice and happy in its pot. So put the label in, cherry tomatoes. Do another one. Open up the roots a little bit. They're nice and wet. Hold it onto it so you don't break the stem. Squash it down a bit. And then put more compost in. Now it looks like you're going to crush the plant and smother in it, but it doesn't. It just helps it produce lots and lots of lovely new roots up the stem. Drop it in. That just opens up the roots so it doesn't grow into a ball. This compost's lovely. It's worth the money. Like I say, I would prefer to produce my own, but it needed to be done. It needed planting on and I haven't got the time to get the compost out the bin, so far too much to do. Right, now that looks like a really tiny plant, but it's not. It's got a root all the way down. It's got a stem all the way down the pot, so the roots will fill up in the pot and it'll produce a nice root system. So that's just how I do it. That's how I've always done my tomatoes. Never had any problems. So this one is going in a big pot, but it's only a small plant. So I will put some in the bottom of this one, because it's a little bit behind the others, but I'll still squash it in like that on top of the compost just to spread the roots out, and then we'll put compost round it. Now this just means while I'm building the polytunnel that the tomatoes won't get stunted. They'll get a feed and then they'll be all ready and nice and big plants to go in when the polytunnel's up. So there we go. So that's 4. Right, so these ones are a little bit behind. These are the garden pearl that I planted, and I'm going to pot them on, but I'm going to pot them on into smaller pots and then pot them on again, and this one as well. So move that out of the way. Now these pots will be better for these. These are a little bit small, but they'll just have to do. So. Same thing again, drop it in the pot and then put the compost round it. And hopefully these will shoot right up now. I like to plant them to just above the first set of the true leaves. Now these are different ones, so I don't want to get confused. This one here, I'm going to pop in a big pot. It's supposed to be a chocolate pepper. Don't know whether it is. Looks more like a tomato to me, but maybe it's the same family. Don't know. I've only got the one. Only one sprouted out of a whole packet. About 10 seeds, I think, and only one came up. Having terrible trouble. Don't know whether it's the weather or what. There we go. Chocolate pepper. Put that in there. Got another single one I can put in. Yeah. Need to move this one on as well, courgette. It needs some better compost, give it a boost. It's a bit slow. It has got some nice roots on it, you can see that. That needs a bigger pot. Do some in between pots. Right. Put that in there. Seems to be a lot of bark in this compost. Hopefully the feed in this compost will give everything a good G up. Right, so that's my round ball courgette. Take that out, leave that in there. Right, so that's that. So I'm going to carry on with my seeds. I've got my cucumbers to do. I've got my pumpkins to do. Got the rest of these tomatoes to do. And I've got my yellow courgettes. And my other cucumbers to do. So while the weather's deciding what it wants to do, I'm going to carry on and get on with these, get them done. You got the idea of what I'm doing. I wanted to just show you the tomatoes and show you what I do with them, because I don't know whether you have got any other ideas of what you could do to plant tomatoes to get them going. I just think that's just a really good way just to get them on into a bigger pot while I'm waiting for the polytunnel to be done. And then once I've got that done, I'll just keep potting them on into bigger pots, and then once I've got that done they can go in the polytunnel. So yeah, the cherry tomatoes I might put in hanging baskets and try and hang them up in the polytunnel. I'm going to grow a courgette in the polytunnel, My cucumbers are going in the polytunnel, and I've got some squash to sow as well. That also is to go, sorry, my hair's in my hand, is also to go in the polytunnel. So I'm going to do that today as well and see if we can have some success with that. Because at the moment, as I say, it's very mixed. I don't know what's going on with the seeds. I don't know whether anyone else out there is having problems buying seeds and then they don't grow. I don't know whether it's old seeds and they're just putting it in new packets or what. But it's seeds that I've bought this year that I'm having trouble with as well. The old seed I didn't expect anything from, and all I've been doing is just tossing the stuff out of the pot onto the garden, and then if it wants to grow, it'll grow, won't it? If they might eat it, they might eat it, but if it's not done anything in 2 weeks, then as far as I'm concerned, it's not going to do anything if it's old seed, so it's not worth hanging on to it and taking up the space in my greenhouse. So that's what I've been doing outside the greenhouse here on the soil bed, which I have cleared. I've just been chucking the old seed on there and seeing if it grows. If it doesn't, I've lost nothing. But my new seed, I'm a bit annoyed really, because I have spent money on it, and yes, okay, I did get discounts, I did get money off, I did have vouchers, but it's not the point. If I was going to pay full price for seed, I want them to grow. And one of the packets of sweet peas that I bought should have been £3.49 a packet for 10 seeds, and they haven't grown. They've been in the packet in the tub for 10 days, and they haven't grown. So I put them in the propagator to see if it's the cold weather that's maybe stopping them from growing. But I've done a whole load of nasturtiums, they haven't grown. So yeah, I'm at a loss as to what's going on with the seed. I've never had this trouble before. I've always had good seed. But just this year, don't know whether it's because companies are cutting back on what they're doing, scaling back their operations, repackaging seeds. I've no idea. But seed's not as good as what it used to be, and I've been buying organic as well, and they're not cheap. And yeah, I did get them when they were on offer at 99p, but that's not the point. If you're going to pay full price £3.50 for a packet of 10 seeds, you want it to grow. So if any of you out there are having similar problems with your seeds, please do leave a comment in the comment section below, and let's see what everybody else is dealing with. Let's see if you're dealing with similar problems to me, and maybe it's a supply problem and it's not me. Because I'd like to know whether it's something I'm doing wrong or whether it is actually the seed itself. I've been using good compost to do my seeds as far as I'm concerned. It's only sort of last year's compost, so, and I don't like using this sort of compost because it clumps up too thick and the seeds don't grow. So I don't know. I mean, these cucumbers are in exactly the same compost as what other seeds have grown in. These cucumbers here have been grown in exactly the same compost, and they've grown fine. But other seeds that I've put in and that are in exactly the same compost, like my sweet peas, just haven't done anything, and they're Sarah Raven ones, and I'd expect a lot more from their seeds than for them not to grow when you pay for them. So yes, they were on offer, but that's not the point. The point is that if you're buying seed, you want them to grow. So I mean, these were for 29p in Lidl, and look at them. Every seed I've put in has come up. So I don't know. If you do have any thoughts as to what's going on with seeds this year, please do let me know in the comment section below, and it would be good to see what everyone else is dealing with their seeds as well. So I'm going to drink my cup of coffee, and I'm going to crack on with my seeds, and then hopefully the weather's going to buck up and I can get out and get my posts done, so I can get my base done for my polytunnel and hopefully get that started this week. But we will have to see. It's Tuesday already, and yeah. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to go. I'm starting to waffle. I will see you soon. I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your week. Please do like, subscribe, hit that bell, and keep up to date with what's going on here at Wildwood Cottage, and I will see you soon. So enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. Bye for now. Bye bye.